Chapter 9, A Guide to Business Psychology. As we all know, if you want to become a successful business leader, you need to consider the psychological effects of your leadership style.
If you're an empathetic, flexible, hands-off leader, your underlings will feel relaxed and happy as they go about their work.
And we don't want that, do we?
Let us introduce you to Workit's revolutionary leadership model, Sociopathic Psychological Leadership of Real People, or SPLORP for short.
When you use the SPLORP method, you will cultivate 4 key attitudes within your office: fear, blame, compliance, and deference.
Through the power of SPLORP, you'll crush the ambitions of those upstart do-gooders who have their eye on your job.
Let's take a closer look, starting with the first key attitude, fear.
For a healthy sense of fear in your employees, you need to create an environment where no one can admit their mistakes.
Demand that your workers maintain the illusion of perfection at all times.
Here's a scenario to help illustrate what we mean. Alright everyone, gather around. Patrick here has something he'd like to say.
I thought I told you that in confidence.
Patrick, we're a team here.
Okay. Team, I know we thought we'd met our targets for this quarter, but it turns out I entered some of the data incorrectly.
And what's gonna happen now, Patrick?
Well, we're a team, right? Maybe we can put our heads together and we'll get...
Wrong! Into the pit!
And just like that, you'll never have to deal with another employee admitting a mistake ever again.
Along with fear, the SPLORP method will have you creating a culture of blame in your office.
When employees can't own up to their mistakes, it naturally follows that they'll shift responsibility to others.
Let's revisit that scenario and see how our hapless Patrick can handle it better.
Team, I know we thought we'd met our targets for this quarter, but it turns out I entered some of the data incorrectly.
Into the pit!
Oh, did I say I entered the data incorrectly? I meant, Nancy did.
What? I've never handled those numbers in my... Into the pit, Nancy!
See? Your team is learning and adapting already.
So much for fear and blame. The third pillar of the SPLORP method is compliance.
As we all know, things get messy when your underlings try to share unwelcome opinions.
As a leader, you should be able to look at your team and think, no one here has a single thought of their own.
Here's a scenario that shows you how you can make compliance part of your team.
Alright everyone, first item on the agenda is how to meet our quarterly targets. You're already working soul-crushing overtime, but I say, work harder. Thoughts?
Well, studies have shown that workers' productivity actually decreases once they're putting in a
Wrong!
certain
Into
number...
the lion cage! Yet again, when you employ the SPLORP method, you'll find that employees will quickly learn to keep their unwanted opinions to themselves.
Of course, sometimes employees insist on expressing opinions.
In developing the SPLORP method, we thought, if you can't fight it, use it to your advantage.
And that's where we came up with the 4th pillar of SPLORP, deference.
If an employee has to have an opinion, let's make sure it's exactly the same as yours.
Let's go back to our meeting scenario and see how that works.
You're already working soul-crushing overtime, but I say work harder. Thoughts?
I think you're right, boss.
I also hold that opinion.
Me too.
Great. As a team, we've decided... Oh, Mr. Goodman. Folks, you all know Mr. Goodman, our CEO.
Shut up, Murdoch. Your numbers are terrible.
But it's not my fault, Mr. Goodman. It's the team's fault. I've been trying to stop them.
Cut the crap, Murdoch. Into the lion cage.
And best of all, the SPLORP method will help you cultivate new leaders.
You're Patrick, right?
Yes, sir.
You look fearful and compliant. I like that. You're the new manager.
Gosh.
In conclusion, Workit's SPLORP method is the most psychologically sound leadership method out there.
And they all lived happily ever after.
The end.